Welcome, football fans, to Tim Reynolds Show's NFL Week 7 review. Make sure you hit that like button as I'm reviewing all the games from the 2024 NFL season's Week 7, starting out with Monday Night Football, where we see another doubleheader, and we see my Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Both of these teams looking like two of the best in the NFL early on in the season, and we would see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come out hot with a 10-0 lead, shutting out the Baltimore Ravens in the first quarter. But after that, we would see this Baltimore Ravens offense score 34 unanswered points and end up getting the victory 41-31 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, as running back Derrick Henry rushes for 169 yards and catches a 13-yard touchdown reception. And Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, throws 5 touchdown passes in this game as they're able to get the victory. And even though quarterback Baker Mayfield throws for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game, he also threw 2 interceptions that proved to be very costly for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this matchup, as now they move to 4-3 and take on the Atlanta Falcons next week for the division lead. And the Baltimore Ravens are looking like one of the best teams in the NFL as they improve to 5-2 early on in the 2024 NFL season. And guys, we have our next matchup on Monday night, where the Los Angeles Chargers would take on the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals were able to score 10 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win this game 17-15 over the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers were shut out by the Arizona Cardinals defense as they were not able to score any touchdowns in this game, all field goals for the Chargers offense, and the Cardinals were able to take advantage and get the victory in this one. And guys, moving on to our next matchup on Sunday Night Football, where we got Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and quarterback Russell Wilson gets his first start with the Pittsburgh Steelers since he joined the team in the offseason, as Justin Fields has been holding down the fort there for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. But man, did this offense look so much better with Russell Wilson at the helm, especially in the second half, as they were able to score 24 points in the second half to pull away in this one 37-15 and get the victory over the New York Jets, who were struggling and did not score a single touchdown or a single point in the second half, as this Pittsburgh Steelers defense really stepped up their game and looking like one of the best in the league right now. And we see Najee Harris have 102 yards rushing and a touchdown, and Pickens have 111 yards receiving on 5 catches and a touchdown to help this Pittsburgh Steelers team get the victory as they improve to 5-2 on the season. And then guys, going on to our next matchup of Sunday, where we see the Kansas City Chiefs, undefeated on the season, taking on the San Francisco 49ers there. The Niners, though, really couldn't get anything going in this game as they were only able to score 18 points, but the Kansas City Chiefs were able to come back in the fourth quarter, scoring 14 points in that fourth quarter, as Patrick Mahomes was able to lead these boys to another victory, as the Kansas City Chiefs remain as the only undefeated team left in the NFL season thus far, as they improved to 6-0. And man, the 49ers are dealing with a lot of injuries, as both wide receiver Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk went out of this game with injuries that they're dealing with wide receiver Brandon Ayuk now reportedly out for the season on injured reserve with a knee injury. A tough blow here and a tough loss for the 49ers, who moved to 3-4 on the season. So guys, moving to our next matchup, where we see the Carolina Panthers taking on the Washington Commanders, and the Commanders got an easy victory in this one, 40-7 over a Panthers team that is just struggling. And even though the Washington Commanders lost their starting quarterback, rookie quarterback Jalen Daniels, to a rib injury in the first half, they really were able to keep it going without a beat, as Marcus Mariota throws for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air to help the Commanders get a really good victory, 40-7 over the Carolina Panthers, as the Commanders move to 5-2 on the season. And the Panthers now are going to look to go back to quarterback Bryce Young in this upcoming week's matchup, as they now fall to 1-6 on the season and now have to play the rookie, with veteran quarterback Andy Dalton being injured this week, as news has reported. And we're also hearing reports that the Carolina Panthers could be trading a lot of their players, including wide receivers Deontay Johnson and wide receiver Adam Thielen, at the trade deadline. So something to keep out and look out for there for the Panthers. Guys, next we see the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders weren't able to get anything going on offense once again, as the Rams were able to get a 20-15 victory over the Los Angeles Raiders, and the Raiders lost their starting quarterback Aiden O'Connell to a thumb injury in this one, and now have to go back to quarterback Gardner Minshew going forward. But this Rams team gets their second win of the season, as they move to 2-4 right now after this victory, and they go on Thursday night. They will be taking on none other than the Minnesota Vikings in their Thursday Night Football matchup coming up in NFL Week 8. Then, guys, we've seen a revenge game as the Philadelphia Eagles travel to take on the New York Football Giants, and Saquon Barkley had himself one hell of a game, rushing for 176 yards and a touchdown and leading this Philadelphia Eagles offense to the victory 28-3. And not only that, we see the Eagles defense shut out this New York Giants football offense as they weren't able to score any touchdowns in this game, and they get the victory as now the Eagles move to 4-2 on the season with their victory over the Giants. Guys, our next matchup, we see the Detroit Lions traveling to take on the formerly undefeated Minnesota Vikings. That's right, guys. We see the Detroit Lions get the upset victory in this one, 31-29, after a last-second field goal from kicker Jake Bates, who was able to knock it through the uprights to give the Lions the lead with just 15 seconds left to go in the game. And Jared Goff balled out once again, going 22 for 25, throwing 280 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. And Gibbs really stepped up at the running back position after David Montgomery got hurt and was able to return but wasn't running the same after that injury. But he steps up with 116 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground to help this Detroit Lions offense get the victory. Amon St. Brown does his thing with 8 catches and 112 yards and a touchdown. And Jared Goff's looking like a legitimate MVP candidate, leading this team to a big victory over the formerly undefeated Vikings, who now will go to face the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday night. Then, guys, moving on to our next matchup where we see the Green Bay Packers taking on the Houston Texans there at Lambeau Field, and the Packers were able to get a 24-22 victory off of a last-second field goal from McManus. Brandon McManus, who they just signed this week, their new kicker, knocks it through the uprights to give the Packers the victory, who moved to 5-2 on the season. And Jordan Love has himself a day. Even though he threw a couple interceptions in this one, he also adds on 3 touchdown passes for 220 yards to help them get the victory in this one. And CJ Stroud, what a very, very bad day for him in that Texans offense, as Stroud wasn't even able to throw for 90 yards passing in this game, and the offensive line was terrible, giving up sacks to CJ Stroud, who was on his back all game long. The Texans will look to rebound after this loss here. Next, we see the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on the Cleveland Browns, and we see the Bengals get the victory in this one, 24-14. And even though Joe Burrow continues to struggle against a Cleveland Browns defense, the sad news here is for the Cleveland Browns, as their starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson, suffered an Achilles injury and was out for the remainder of this game, and now reports are saying that he will be out the rest of the season with a torn Achilles, as now quarterback Jameis Winston, the backup, will be the starter heading into Week 8 for the Cleveland Browns. And now the Cincinnati Bengals, who moved to 3-4 on the season, get back-to-back victories for the first time this season, and they're going to look to continue this momentum going forward. Next, guys, we have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills were able to get a pretty easy victory in this one, especially after scoring 27 points in the second half to come out here and blow out the Tennessee Titans 34-10. The Titans weren't able to get anything going on offense in the second half whatsoever, shut out as this defense for the Buffalo Bills stepped up there, and Josh Allen had himself a day with 323 yards passing and 2 touchdowns through the air to help the Buffalo Bills get the victory as they move to 5-2 on the season and also improved to 3-0 at home. Next, we had the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Atlanta Falcons, and we see the Seattle Seahawks get a huge victory in this one, 34-14 over the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons offense was just struggling all game long as Kirk Cousins really couldn't get enough going to keep the points up with how many points the Seattle Seahawks offense was scoring. And man, did they have themselves a good game as DK Metcalf had 99 yards receiving and a touchdown, and he also reportedly got injured in this particular game, so we'll have to see what reports say about him and his practice and his knee injury going forward. But the Seahawks here get a big upset victory as they move to 4-3 on the season, winning 34-14 over the Atlanta Falcons. Next, guys, we see the Miami Dolphins taking on the Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts were able to get a 16-10 victory in this one, as the Miami Dolphins weren't able to get anything going in the second half, especially with Tyler Huntley going out with an injury, and they had to turn to backup quarterback Tim Boyle, who wasn't able to get anything going for this Miami's team, as the Colts were able to get the victory and improve to 4-3 on the season. Next, guys, we go to across the pond where we see the Patriots taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And in this one, we see the Jaguars score a lot of points in the second quarter as they get a 32-16 victory over the Patriots in this one, as they get their second win of the season, scoring 32 points here. And the Patriots team that is struggling and afterwards would be called soft by their head coach as they move to 1-6 on the season. And even though quarterback Drake May has a great game, 276 yards and 2 touchdowns, we see obviously the Jaguars offense was able to get things going on the running game as Tank Bigsby had 118 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, the backup running back for the Jaguars, to help them get their second victory of the season. Then, guys, we go to Thursday Night Football where we see the Denver Broncos taking on the New Orleans Saints, and we see the Broncos dominate on Thursday Night Football as they were able to get the victory 33-10 over the Saints, who struggled all day long on offense to not get anything going whatsoever, as this Denver Broncos defense looks legit, like one of the best in the NFL right now, as their defensive unit really shut out the Saints in this one. And Bo Nix in this offense is starting to get things going as the Denver Broncos get the victory to improve to 4-3 on the season. And guys, this has been your NFL Week 7 review on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and please leave some comments to let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day.